After the 2013 ouster of President Mohamed Morsi, who had come from the Muslim Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party, there was a resurgence of nationalism. And with a military leader, General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, later elected President el-Sisi, coming to the fore, there was a resurgence of the kind of nationalism that was common in the era of Nasser back in the 50s and 60s. It's a kind of militaristic, anti-foreign, and populist brand of nationalism that has been revived in Egypt, has come forward very strongly. It's a little bit different from, there was a kind of nationalism that prevailed after the 2011 revolution as well. There was an attempt at that time to reinvent Egyptian nationalism, a more inclusive nationalism. There was a lot of bridge building at that time between Muslims and Christians, between Islamists and secularists, between rich and poor in Egypt. But all of that crumbled at the time of 2013, at the collapse of the Morsi presidency and the return of the military to dominance of politics in Egypt. Despite the fact that nationalists now dominate the political scene in Egypt, and the other two political camps, the Islamists and the secular opposition, are largely absent or marginalized, there's still a lot of political turmoil and chaos. Parliamentary elections, which should have been held in the summer of 2014, have been postponed repeatedly. And this is because, partly I think due to the elimination of the other two political camps, differences among the nationalists have re-emerged. Differences, for example, between business people who support the nationalists and the military itself, or among different security services, internal security services and the military. We're seeing more and more signs of these differences re-emerging. In a way, this makes politics in Egypt similar now to what it was in 2010, before the revolution, when at that time we saw a lot of differences inside the Mubarak regime. At that time there were differences related to succession in the presidency. But we're seeing some of those same factions reemerge now. What this leads to is a political scene in which there is not real competition. There is not ideological competition over the future of the country and different plans for the economy, etc. What we're seeing more now is personal rivalries reemerging, and people who are out for economic benefit who want to run for the parliament.